I've been expecting you, Team Top 5.
Who are you?
Flax and Phalange!
Flax what?
Disarm them.
Alright, are we doing this or what?
Yeah, we kind of got a countdown thing to do.
Actually, I need more time to perfect my most evil plan. Go on, do your last countdown, and then I will deliver suffering and the longest, most evil monologue.
As with any franchise that's been around for over 50 years, James Bond has developed some tropes and patterns that the films have fallen into.
A good movie plays with these elements without drawing too much attention to them.
But what happens when they're omitted from a movie? Or worse, completely take over?
These are the top 5 worst James Bond movies. Number 5. Moonraker. Very much the best worst Bond film. Right away, the mid-air fight sequence made to look like they're free-falling without a parachute is honestly incredibly impressive, especially for the time. But then we're dragged through the rest of this dizzying movie. There's a lot going on to start, mostly Bond breaking whatever he wants, but some things are set up that we don't get back to. Like, check out this dude that I'd totally like to know more about. Aw, but we gotta keep the teeth, dude? All this leads up to the inevitable space act. Aboard the space station, we learn the evil plot to wipe out the Earth, but thankfully, Bond's on top of it, turning off the gravity to save the day. Well, at least no one's shooting, oh my god, laser fight. I take back everything, this is amazing. It's not a good movie by today's standards, but it's so ridiculous at points that it becomes fun all over again. It's just so very 1979, and with the relatively recent success of Star Wars, it was clear that sci-fi was the way to hook audiences for the 11th Bond film. Although it was met with mixed feelings, Moonraker was the highest grossing film of the Bond series until GoldenEye. So hey, joke's on us.
Number 4. For Your Eyes Only. After the more science fiction-centric Moonraker, the franchise tried to return to a more realistic and grounded Bond. Honestly, this movie isn't too bad. It suffers from some slow pacing in between action sequences that make it feel long and a tad unengaging, but when there is action, it is well done with some great stunt work.
Oh, God.
But goodness, BB is one of the most annoying characters in the Bond universe. I don't call her a Bond girl because Bond actively turns down her advances. Probably because of interactions like this.
Didn't you ever come up for air?
That's where I'll get the gold medal. Breath control.
Yes, well, you can't lose.
The number one reason this movie gets under my skin, though, is the opening sequence. In possibly one of the biggest letdowns in the franchise, Blofeld is killed off within the first 6 minutes of this movie. The series had been building to this moment, a final showdown between Spectre's number 1 and 007, finished in 5 minutes, without a single mention of the aftermath in the movie. Now, this was due to some complicated legal issues with James Bond. Blofeld and Spectre were both a part of the rights dispute, therefore he couldn't be used or mentioned in the movies until it was resolved. Blofeld is not even mentioned in the credits. The audience is just supposed to assume it's him because of the white cat and the fact that the movie begins with Bond looking at his wife's grave. No epic showdown, just begging for his life and a fall to the death for one of Bond's most iconic villains. Very disappointing. Number 3. Octopussy. Hope you all aren't scared of clowns, because this movie has not only 1, but 2 MI6 agents parading as them.
Why?
I'm not entirely too sure. Octopussy follows the story of a jewelry counterfeit ring involving a mysterious island of women and a nuclear bomb on a U.S. base in order to disarm the Western nations to pave the way for a modern-day blitzkrieg. Confused? So were audiences. The plot of this film was all over the place. It's like the movie wanted to be full of twists and turns to keep you on the edge of your seat, but rather a dragging middle left you wondering, where is this going? Octopussy takes the cheesy charm of a typical Bond movie way too over the top. He's got the most ridiculous gadgets, like a horse-trailer airplane and a crocodile sub. It sets up silly gags that really don't pay off, like mentioning a character as a tennis player just so we could have this happen. Or even worse, has a jungle chase scene to set up this gem. There's even a couple of times where I felt Bond was veering into creepy territory rather than being charismatic. For example, he uses one of Q's gadgets just to zoom in on a girl's cleavage.
Perfect image, Q.
Really, 007. Look, I haven't time for these adolescent antics.
Charming. Overall, Octopussy misses the mark on being a tongue-in-cheek, campy Bond movie and instead comes across as ridiculous and a little awkward.
Number 2. A View to a Kill. Right away, this movie started out on rocky footing. You know what the Beach Boys song California Girls makes me think of? A British man snowboarding in Siberia. This was also my least favorite opening title sequence. The unenthusiastic neon-painted ladies makes me uncomfortable. But don't worry, the ladies got more uncomfortable as the film went on.
The bubbles tickle my Tchaikovsky.
As a reminder, Roger Moore was 57 at the time of filming, so they made sure to age up the henchmen he had to fight, but not the ladies. And Bond's geology damsel is laughable throughout. The whole movie is one big stretch with what stunts Bond would be capable of doing, and a lot of the plot relied heavily on dumb luck. Oh, glad they have that jumpsuit in a 00. Christopher Walken as Zorn throws himself out there to make us care about the microchip, Silicon Valley, evil tech. It's just not that interesting beyond killing people in complicated ways. Grace Jones as Mayday is far more interesting, though deciding to be good once double-crossed by an established bad guy gives the audience whiplash. From extreme excuses to put a stunt double in a wig to ridiculous deaths, this movie sure was a memorable ride. Just not in a good way.
And the number 1 worst James Bond movie is Die Another Day. What's most frustrating about this movie is that the beginning premise is actually really good. James Bond is captured and imprisoned in North Korea after his cover is blown by one of his own. After more than a year, he's traded back to MI6 in a prisoner exchange, but M thinks he's lost his use as an agent. Bond goes out on his own to track down Zhao, the North Korean he was exchanged for, and find out who betrayed him within his own organization. Die Another Day is the only Bond movie that upset me. All the goofy Moore movies or other subpar installments don't really bother me all that much. I at least enjoy them on some level, but this one literally put me in a bad mood. I just said last week how much I love Pierce Brosnan as James Bond. There's just something about him that's very unique from the others. While he wasn't always in the best movies, I always liked him in the role. In this, I like him, but they gave him such trash to work with. And the thing is, this starts out in some really different and intriguing territory. Bond is a prisoner for 14 months, beaten, tortured, humiliated. When he's let go in the exchange, we have a really good scene with him and M that shows off how ruthless she could be.
You're no use to anyone now.
Bond has something to prove now. Everyone has abandoned him, and after over a year of torture, he should be a changed man. More merciless, a burned agent out to get back to what he once was and maybe make some tough compromises along the way. But after a shave and a haircut, he's just back to being the same guy he was before. Not so much as a limp. That was really irritating because we had the opportunity to take him in a direction we hadn't seen before. Besides that, the cast is pretty awful here. Halle Berry looked to be prepping for a role in Catwoman, and the villains were made out to be complete jokes. Combine that with Madonna's horrible theme song, some terrible CG, a baffling ice hotel setting, and the ending of Batman and Robin, and you have what feels like a 3.5-hour-long piece of frozen, diamond-encrusted garbage. Brosnan deserves so much better than this for his last outing as 007.
Who sent you?
Your mama.
Ah!
Walter, I have something especially original for you.
I wonder how all the other villains have such loyal aquatic life.
Boss, I got a great idea. What if we rope them up?
I just had a great idea. What if we roped them?
No! I swear to Bond, if one more duplicate tries to tie me up, I will lose my shit. No, you can't hurt Heather. We're in love.
What even is going on?
I don't know, man. We're so many tropes in, I lost count.
How about one more trope for the road? Danger zone!
Oh yeah, baby!
Manners maketh man.